What is the foundation of your country made of? High morals, good values, way of the people, honest elections, democracy, love for the country and its people? Is your foundation rock solid, made of reinforced concrete, or perhaps it's made of sand? What I want to show you now is an instant result of the crash test that is happening in Kursk, Russia. Top Russian propaganda personalities discuss the Ukrainian counteroffensive in Kursk live on Russian major federal TV channel. Please watch it.
Вот что нам делать в этой ситуации? Ну, у нас еще пару недель будет очень тяжелых. Даже вот я не завидую тем редакторам, которые выбирают сюжеты для программ, потому что, ну, когда видно, что там происходит, и ситуация пока не стабилизирована, очень сложно вот этот показной оптимизм сохранять.
А у нас что, показной оптимизм, вы видите?
Ну, слушайте,
СМИ,
ну, посмотрите даже...
Я про наши СМИ не говорю, я за них не отвечаю. Я работаю в программе местных встреч.
Иногда на войне происходят плохие вещи, понимаете?
Рамзан Кадыров сказал 3 дня, что-то такое.
Ну, давайте мы не будем Рамзана Кадырова всую упоминать, чтобы никому потом не изменяться. Эту тему вообще, тем более сейчас, знаете. Давайте вот эту тему Ахмата и Рамзана Кадырова просто не будем от греха обсуждать. Вот. Что касается нам, как нам успокоиться? Ну, постараться смотреть цинично, хотя это безумно тяжело, поменьше эмоций, посмотреть на карту России желательно, и сопоставить с картой огромной России вот эти потерянные территории.
Это очень важно.
Да, эвакуировать надо со всего приграничья, со всего. Готовиться к наихудшему варианту. Готовиться к тому, что этими территориями, дай бог без людей, чтобы вывести всех, включая старушек, придется пожертвовать. Да, потому что пожертвовать на какое-то время, может даже на полгода, украинцы там, возможно, закрепятся.
You know what the Ukrainians doing in Kursk right now is so much more that we've thought of it. They are showing that Putin's Russia foundation is made out of sand. They are showing that Putin's Russia is a fake country. Even I, who have seen lots of things in the last 2.5 years, I am in awe. Howdy, howdy, everyone. Welcome to Inside Russia. My name is Konstantin, and this is where usual Russia is explained by the unusual Russian. As usual, you will not find here any fake news, BS, or propaganda. You will find truth, common sense, and logic, and some emotions too, because I am a human being, after all. Welcome, friends. It's been some time, and I would like to continue doing my updates. And I would like to tell you what's happening right now. On the morning of August 6th, the Ukrainian armed forces rolled onto the Russian territory, to Kursk province. They penetrated Russian-Ukrainian border, mostly unopposed. Russian officials in the propaganda, kept silence, obviously. We wouldn't expect anything different from them, would we? All we had on the 6th, and then the following day, partially on the 7th, were rumors. And the rumors were unsettling. At first, the Ukrainian operation seemed like another raid into Russian territory. It's happened before a few times. So it was another raid, right? Albeit very well prepared and unlike other raids. And Russian people didn't worry too much. One of Ministry of Defense top officials, General Major Apti Aladinov, made a very official statement.
Успокаиваемся, берем попкорн и спокойно наблюдаем за тем, как наши уничтожают.
I want you to watch this again. This is my best part.
Успокаиваемся, берем попкорн и спокойно наблюдаем за тем, как наши уничтожают.
And, you know, Russians didn't worry at first. And I certainly didn't. But I did get the popcorn. And it's right here. And I started enjoying the show. Then, to great surprise of many Russians, not to my surprise, hey, I was enjoying the show, you know. So, to the surprise of many Russians, it became clear that the Ukrainian army rolled into Russia and was to stay in Russia. After taking a good part of Kursk province, lightning fast, unexpected, such great points for Russian intelligence or counterintelligence, I don't know. The Ukrainian forces started building fortifications on the day 2 after they rolled into Russia. Do you know when army men build fortifications? When they are to stay and defend the land they're standing on. Now, I want you to put yourself into the shoes of a regular Russian. What would you expect, what would you expect from your government and from your army when your country gets invaded? A quick disclaimer here. I can't call what the Ukrainians are doing in Kursk province an invasion. It is not. It seems more like a special military operation that Ukraine is conducting in Russia. But for the simplicity's sake, let's call it invasion, just once, right here, okay? That's what many Russians think of it. What would you expect your government do, your army do, when your country gets invaded again? Most likely, you'd expect your army to defend the invaded territories and kick the invaders out. You pay high taxes to maintain your army year after year. Moreover, your president has been conducting a special military operation in your neighbor's land, razing towns after town in Ukraine and killing neighbors' people by hundreds of thousands with one purpose: to make Russia safer, more secured. That what he publicly announced. I remind you, in case you've forgotten, February 24th, 2022, Russia conducting special military operation in Ukraine to make Russia safer. And now it is your territory that is taken. A large territory, around 1,000 square kilometers. And dozens of settlements of various sizes are controlled by a foreign army. And that's where it gets interesting. And now, it turns out that your army doesn't really exist. Well, it exists on paper. It exists virtually. It exists for parades. It exists for conducting joint military exercises. And Russian armed forces conduct joint military exercises brilliantly. 1 month ago, it brilliantly conducted joint military exercise called Maritime Cooperation 2024 with the Chinese. And now, today, Russian armed forces are proudly conducting another joint military exercise called Selenga 2024 with the Mongolians. And Первый канал, Russia's largest TV network, proudly talks and shows this exercise.
Россия и Монголия начинают масштабные учения «Селенга-2024». Церемония открытия прошла в полевом лагере вблизи города Чойбалсан. Впервые на территории Монголии маневры в таком формате. Участвуют подразделения сухопутных войск, ВКС и сил специального назначения двух стран. Задействованы несколько сотен военных. В небо поднимутся истребители и штурмовики. Учения проводятся в преддверии 85-летия победы советско-монгольских войск над Японией в ходе сражения на реке Халхин-Гол.
This is not fake news. This is not a joke. This is real. This is as official as it gets. The footage is released by the Ministry of Defense and broadcasted by Первый канал. And this is where I start getting confused. Confused a lot. You see, I see fairly, when I'm in front of camera, I feel confident. I've done over 1,000 live streams in the previous 2.5 years, and I usually comment events that happen in Russia. This joint military exercise that Russia is conducting with the Mongolians, as I speak, I cannot comment. I don't know how to do it. I don't know what to say. There's the war happening on Russian territory. The Ukrainian armed forces, for the past 12 days, have been constantly moving further, pushing further and further into Russian territory. They take settlement after settlement. There are dozens and dozens of settlements under their control. The governor of Kursk province over a week ago admitted to Putin live on television that there were 27 settlements. Putin got mad. He interrupted the guy, But I think in reality right now, they're, 100? I don't know. That's so many. At least 121,000 Russian civilians have fled their homes in Kursk region. That's just the official data. And in reality, it's many more. They left, and so many people who couldn't leave, they are at the risk of starvation. The Ukrainian troops are setting their own administrations to manage the territories under their control. And Russian army is nowhere to be seen near Kursk. Only groups of fresh 18-year-old conscripts who had been stationed there by coincidence, before the Ukrainians rolled in, and that's it. And at the same time, glorious Russian armed forces are conducting joint military exercise with the Mongolians. I think entire Ukraine is laughing right now as they're watching this. It's not even a show. It's a circus. It's a mad circus. What the fudge? I don't know how to comment it. This is just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It seems like a lot of crazy people got together and they start making decisions. Well, folks, what do you think? Let me know down below in the comments what you think. I would love to hear your opinion. My opinion? Mad circus? The nut house? Somewhere in between the mad circus and the nut house, okay? That's what I think. What do you think? But hey, you know what? I'm cool. I have my popcorn. Thank you, General Major Aladinov. What a great advice you gave me and all the Russians, I'm enjoying the show, just like you said.
Все успокаиваемся, берем попкорн и спокойно наблюдаем за тем, как наши уничтожают.
Thank you, Major Aladinov. Well, General Major Aladinov. Now I'd like to update you on what has happened in the last 12 days in Western Russia of this special military operation that Ukraine is conducting in Kursk province. But before I do that, and it's a very emotional moment for me, I'd like to thank you, all of you. As you might have heard, Inside Russia has been demonetized by Google. And immediately, so many of you came to the rescue. In various forms, advising, offering assistance, sending emails with best wishes, becoming patrons at patreon.com, sending coffees at Buy Me Coffee, sending money via PayPal, and praying and sending love. I've received thousands of messages over for last 4 days. I'm still answering them, It's been incredible. I've received such a wave of warmth and love in the last days. I'm so touched. And it shows me that a lot of people like what I do. They value what I do. They come to the rescue. They not only they write something, but when I need help, they come to the rescue. So thank you so very much. I don't really know how to thank you enough, but thank you. I promise you, monetization or not, I will keep making updates every single day. As usual, informing you of what is happening inside Russia, the bad, the good, and the ugly. So I don't care if Google returns monetization. I'm working on it, but it's gonna take some time. It doesn't matter. Please keep on tuning in every day. I am overwhelmed by your support and your love. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Now, I want to inform of what's currently going in Kursk province. I would like to tell of the land, the people, the army, and the officials. And this is what I find important. Just the major stuff, without tiny details. The details, I'm going to do the streams that are coming in following days. I'm going to give more details because there are very interesting details there too. So just the major today. Now, there are currently around 1,000 square kilometers of Russian territory being controlled by the Ukrainians. There are different... This is so absurd. This is so like... The tide has changed so abruptly. It's unbelievable. There are different bits of information about how many kilometers exactly, and they come from different sources. For example, the governor of Kursk province said there were 420 square kilometers lost while he was reporting Putin live on national TV a week ago. And he also mentioned 27 or 28, I think 27, of various towns and villages were controlled by Ukrainian armed forces. And you know what? Putin didn't like that. And he interrupted the guy abruptly live with everyone seeing, saying basically, don't talk about that stuff. That's the military thing, the Ministry of Defense will inform. Just talk about the civilians. And I don't believe Russian officials. They lie. I think that if the government said 420, I think we should read at least time and a half. And that was a week ago. And now the Ukrainian forces have been pushing every day. So now various reports are coming in that Ukrainians are controlling over 1,000 square kilometers. And the area is growing. And I think that's, that's pretty much close to the truth, give or take. So that's the land. Now, Russia has been trying to relocate some of the military units to the new front lines, inside Russia. But it's doing it very sluggishly. I was thinking, why? But then today I got the answer. Perhaps it's busy now. It has thrown all the reserves it had to conduct the joint military exercise Selenga 2024 with the Mongolians. Right there. Planes flying, yeah, the troops are, Yeah, that's what they are. They're doing the joint military exercise with Mongolians. The counter-terrorist operation has been enacted in 3 provinces, Kursk and 2 bordering provinces of Russia, Bryansk and Belgorod. According to the Ministry of Emergency Situations, as of August 19th, as of today, 121,000 civilians have been evacuated in Kursk and Belgorod provinces. And that is a lie, because over a week ago, the governor of Kursk, speaking to Putin, said that at that time, 121,000 were evacuated. Either he was lying back then, or the ministry is lying right now. I think in reality, many more thousands and dozens of thousands of people fled. They were not evacuated, but they fled on their own, okay? And then the governor of Kursk province estimated that at least 181,000 people needed to be evacuated. That's a week ago. Imagine now Ukrainians have been pushing. How many more thousands need to be evacuated? As usual, multiply that number by time and a half. Many hundreds of thousands of Russian civilians are living through the nightmare right now. And they're going through similar experience that many Ukrainians did go through recently. I call it the Operation Boomerang. I have a couple of videos for you. Check them out.
Переживали за Донецк, за людей, что эвакуировали. Мы не думали, что у нас такое коснется.
This lady saying that she was worried about Donetsk and other, territories, the new territories of Russia, and that she never thought that that would come to their land and would concern them directly. She never thought. And here's Ekaterina Duntsova, the only independent, normal candidate who was not allowed to participate in Russia's president elections last March. She's been politically active, and check out what she has to say. That's her commenting. It's gonna get worse. We have spoken to some of the refugees who have fled.
Общежитий одного из университетов, и они сказали, что мы здесь с начала войны. Я спросила, то есть вы здесь с 22-го года? Они сказали...
So, and then she's making a very good point. She says that she spoke to quite a few people who were evacuated, who were moved to Kursk and other towns, and she asked them how long they were there for, and they answered, since the start of the war. She said, well, doesn't make any sense, since 2022? And I said, no, we've been here for 6 days. So most Russians started counting the beginning of the war when the Ukrainians rolled into Kursk. When the beginning of the war was really, how do I say that? It doesn't make any sense. It was in 2022, But that's the information bubble that most of Russians have been living in, and a lot are still living, but it's bursting. We are seeing it right in front of our eyes. It's bursting, friends. Let's continue watching. There's, in the background, there's footage of the places that were left by people. So she elaborates more on this position that the war started for them 6 days ago.
Но вообще ничего не понятно. Вот молчание, наверное, больше всего беспокоит людей, что к ним не выходят, им ничего не объясняют, не рассказывают. Даже если мы говорим про пункты временного размещения, туда, куда мы приезжали, люди к нам конкретно подходили, когда мы разгружали машину, и сказали...
After talking to so many people, Duntsova says that the biggest problem that they're facing is lack of information and silence of the officials. Officials are not telling them anything. Some people are hoping that there'll be a few days, and in a few days they'll go back home, which is kind of crazy, I don't think that's going to be over in a few days. Russian officials are not coming out and speaking to them because they have nothing to say. They're trying to save their butts right now, and that's all. Now, the next news. Some Russian mothers of conscripts filmed a video calling for Russian senators and their sons to go join the army and protect them in Kursk. Check this out.
Я, как мать и патриот, даю свое согласие и благословение.
As a mother and a patriot, I am giving my consent and blessing for the senators to go and fight.
И их сыновья. Настал ваш час защиты Родины. Мы в вас верим.
You know, senators and their sons, it's your hour to go and fight for your country. We believe in you.
Вы сможете.
You will do it. Real men. Stop talking the talk. Start walking the walk. Go fight and defend your people. Oh, I love this woman. This is what I've been telling all along. Says, I'm a voter, and I am the source of the power in this country. And I, by my decision, I'm sending you to the front lines. And you know what, folks? This lady is, you know... These words, for the first time, I'm hearing in Russia. For the first time in 2.5 years. And I've been just saying all along, hey, we are the people. This is our country. We are to say what the government does. Okay? And if we don't like the government, we replace it. We're the voters, and we are the source of the power in this country. And I'm hearing it for the first time. Someone actually said it besides me. This is insane.
Мы вам доверяем защиты границ нашей страны. Наши дети стараются, но у вас получится лучше.
So we are trusting, protecting the borders of our country. Okay, our sons are trying, but you will do a better job. We believe in you.
Страна подождет вас. Вы вернетесь с победой, мы верим. Вы, главное, молитесь, как и показываете в рекламе.
И мы...
Says, we believe you. The country will wait. The voters will wait while you protect. Just the main thing is you pray while you're there, as you show that you're so righteous.
Будем помнить.
And we will remember you.
Или поминать.
Or we'll remember you. You know, remember as if you die, killed.
А наших детей верните домой целыми и невредимыми.
And you bring our sons home alive and healthy.
Их и так достаточно полегло. В стране мужчин осталось мало. Вот депутаты, на вас вся теперь надежда.
Senators,
Депутатов,
чиновников,
и их детей на фронт.
This is the best thing I've ever seen in quite some time. It's been circulating in Russian media space. I've been wondering how to wake Russians up, how to make them see clearly, how to make them start thinking straight again. And the only solution I see is that when they receive bits and pieces of information from, you know, different sides, different angles, and that information has questions, and they start asking questions themselves, and they would seek answers. I think that's the only way, and this is a great video. This is just great. Now, moving on. Another funny thing is the countries that Russia is calling friendly refused to condemn the invasion of the armed forces of Ukraine, which I call the special military operation that Ukrainian armed forces conducting in Russia, in Kursk province, okay? They condemned. They refused to condemn. And Russia was hoping, Putin was hoping that they would all condemn. None of the countries that Moscow is calling friendly has expressed words of support to Vladimir Putin. Not China, not Turkey, not Iran, not North Korea, not Houthis, not Cuba, not Venezuela, heck, not even the Taliban. Looks like Russia is on its own. And this is what I call walking the walk. This is what happens when, you know, Russia reaches out and says, hey, we need your help. That's walking the walk. That's what they really think. Moving on. The Italian TV reporters from the TV channel called Rai 1 accompanied the Ukrainian armed forces in Suja, that's the major town, And they showed lack of Russian troops there, and they showed Ukrainian presence. And I want you to check it out. That's in Italian. I apologize. I don't know what they say. I have a pretty good idea, but, that's what they showed on Italian TV.
Siamo dentro il territorio russo. Questo era un nostro mezzo.
No, basically Ukrainian soldiers taking them around and showing where, what's going on.
Mosca ha attaccato per oltre 2 anni e mezzo il territorio dell'Ucraina. Queste sono le posizioni.
And then they moved to actual town of Suja. And that's armored vehicle, as far as I understand. They are let out to film. And she's clearly saying this is territory of Russia, Suja. And the Russian officials have been claiming that Suja still is under control of Russian forces.
Qui ci sono ancora I cadaveri. Ci sono dei civili là? Perché siete rimasti?
They're saying we're peaceful, things like that. So, Russian government didn't really like that fact that the Italian reporters went in and showed the entire world what's happening there. You can really... I take it you have hard time calling Italian reporters of Rai 1 spreading fake news. They went and they filmed, they showed, okay? So the Russian government doesn't like that. It immediately charged the Italian reporters with illegal Russian border crossing. And now these Italian reporters are criminals in Russia and they're wanted. Well, good luck getting them. Molon labe, the Italians should say. Meanwhile, the armed forces of Ukraine have destroyed 3 bridges in Kursk province, basically the bridges that linked major highways, major roads, basically making much of the territory inaccessible for Russian armed forces. But, folks, I think that could have been an excessive measure. Russian troops are busy in a completely different part of Russia, far to the east, conducting joint military exercise with the Mongolians. There's no need to blow up bridges, okay? It's just, they're busy someplace else. The armed forces of Ukraine are also establishing Ukraine administration offices throughout the territories it's controlling to conduct management of these territories. And that's a spit in the face of the Russian officials and slap on the cheek of Putin. That's definitely quite an achievement, And the General Major Abti Aladinov, one of the top officials of the Ministry of Defense, again, criticized the mothers of the conscripts that are demanding their sons not to be used in the front lines. I'd like you to check this out.
Я в последний период наблюдаю такую картину. Всклипы, всплески по поводу того, что срочники вообще не должны воевать. И вообще, почему они даже находятся даже в Курской области? На этот вопрос я бы ответил так. Друзья, а если ваши дети, 18-летние, уже находящиеся в Министерстве обороны, они являются служащими, не должны защищать свое отечество даже тогда, когда на него напал противник, и когда он находится на нашей территории, у меня вообще встает к вам один вопрос. А зачем вы и ваши дети нужны этой стране? Для меня это очень странно, когда вы задаете такое количество вопросов по этому поводу. Как так может быть?
Why does this country need you and your children? Well, I'm sorry, I thought a little bit different of Russians. I thought that Russian citizens are the source of power in the country. And I thought that Russian citizens have a right to say whether they need a country to be run by people like that or not. What do I know? I guess I took it all wrong. Major General's speech is actually quite long, 3.5 minutes. And at the end, he said that the mothers of the conscripts, they shouldn't worry. In case their sons get killed fighting in action, their sons would go to heaven. Yes, he did say that. Nikolai Patrushev, Russia's second most powerful man in the past, who have lost a great deal of his power and has been demoted right after the president election a few months ago. He gave an interview to a Russian newspaper called Izvestia. He stated that the attack of the Ukrainian armed forces on Kursk province is caused by a premonition of the imminent collapse of Kiev regime. Yes. The US authorities lie about their non-involvement in Kiev's crimes in Kursk province. The attack of the armed forces of Ukraine on Kursk province was planned with participation of NATO and Western special services. Well, I take it recognizance. The United States has created all the prerequisites for Ukraine to lose its sovereignty and all territories. I was reading through the interview, and I read it a few times, and something was not right. And then I figured, hey, he forgot to mention the Satanists. Yeah, the Satanists' involvement. Not just the West, but it's the evil Satanists involved, But hey, he's getting old, probably memory failing him. So Patrushev logic is very simple. The better the Ukrainian armed forces are doing in Kursk, the worse it is for Ukraine and better it is for Russia. Well, that's okay. I'm having my popcorn right here. Aptil Ladinov said, enjoy, relax, wait, enjoy the show. That's what I'm doing. I like that logic, That's Russian logic. That's very amusing. The better Ukrainian forces are doing in Russia, the worse it is for Ukraine. That's just and better for Russia. That's a popcorn moment right there. By the way, I cover these such news, and make them available to patrons of Inside Russia every single day. Carefully select 9 news that I find matter, I find important, and I add my commentaries and analysis, and I make them available to patrons. So they will keep you informed on everything you wanted to know about Russia in real time, but we're always afraid to ask. So become Patreon at patreon.com and get the access to all the news that matter. I'm going to place the link down below after the end of this live stream. Now, I'm done with the details. I want to tell you why I think that the Kremlin is in panic. Remember, I started my live stream saying that what Ukrainians are doing is much more than what we're realizing right now. So this is what I think. When this Ukrainian special military operation started, Gerasimov was actually very optimistic. Vladimir Putin called for a meeting of the Security Council of Russia. And Gerasimov, the head of Chief of General Staff, was very optimistic, said about 1,000 people tried to penetrate Russia, mostly where they were all killed, and they're going to be thrown to the borders of Russian Federation soon. And obviously, everyone realized that was a lie, and you should have seen the face of the head of the KGB, Russia's secret police. He was kind of cringing, And then the next day, it was absolutely clear that Ukrainians were to stay. They started building fortifications, and Gerasimov basically lied to Putin live. So he was fired. Vladimir Putin announced the counter-terrorist operation and made Bortnikov, the head of the KGB, the head of this anti-terrorist operation. And you just don't do that. You don't give the control of your army to the head of the secret police, KGB. You don't do that. You don't do that. I mean, this is a dictatorship 101, okay? I know that. I understand how Putin doesn't know, but he does. The thing is, he had no choice. Because had he kept Gerasimov, he would find the Ukrainians right next to Moscow in a few days. Yeah, the Gerasimov is that inadequate, okay? So he made Bortnikov the head. And then you know what happened in 24 hours? He fired Bortnikov and made Dumin the head of this counter-terrorist operation, placed him in charge of the provinces, including the army. Well, on paper, officially, Bortnikov is still the head, but the real control is in the hands of Dumin. Why? Dumin has zero experience. He is a former governor of one of the provinces. But before that, he was a bodyguard of Vladimir Putin. He was one of the top officials at the Secret Service and a personal adjutant in the past to Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin trusts Dumin. I think he trusts him unconditionally. So he makes a person with zero experience of commanding army, not even a serviceman, he makes him in charge of the entire army in the west of Russia. Perhaps this is why Russian army has not been making any advancements to the front lines. Perhaps this is why they're conducting joint military exercise with the Mongolians. Perhaps this is why, because Dumin is in control, okay? It shows that shuffling people like that shows lack of confidence, lack of leadership, lack of power, and that spells panic. It is clear to me Vladimir Putin is panicking. He showed up on public a couple times. He made very irrational decisions, and then he just has disappeared. We have not seen him in a week. We know that he left Russia with a visit to Azerbaijan. I wonder why. He disappeared. He hasn't said anything. He hasn't addressed Russians. He hasn't done anything. And you know what's been happening in the last week from other officials besides Putin? Perhaps from Ministry of Defense? Nothing! Nothing's been happening. TV propaganda is drawing the picture that everything is fine. Meanwhile, hundreds of thousands of people are fleeing the west of Russia. Over 1,000 square kilometers, well, give or take, are controlled by foreign army. In the west of Russia, there's chaos and panic. The officials, local officials, they have no directions from Moscow anymore. They lost contact. They don't know what to do. They're saying publicly what they're seeing on TV is lies. And the official agenda on TV, and the propaganda, well, all is well. Full-fledged military operation is underway on the territory of Russian Federation. With artillery, tanks, planes, lots of dead people on both sides, and captured settlements, captured troops, Russian troops, destroyed bridges. Now, a fairly large group of Russian troops may find themselves in a very unpleasant situation in the risk of being surrounded. More land is under the threat of loss. The Ministry of Emergency Situations reported that more than 121,000 of Russian people, civilians, old people, retired women, children, were evacuated from 9 border regions. 2 provinces, well, 3 provinces now, Kursk, Bryansk, and Belgorod. There are no prospects to quickly stop the advancing army. And then all the Z reporters, are screaming about that. They're saying that's not going to end quickly. They're not saying it's going to be a defeat soon, but they're saying it's going to be very difficult and the tough military time is coming for Russia. The war is to stay in the Kursk region for a very long time. And folks, at the same time, Vladimir Putin is officially visiting Azerbaijan. There were no more statements from him except for the very first days of fighting. Russia's top leadership has been silent as if he doesn't know what to do, he doesn't know what to say, and he's in panic. Vladimir Putin promised the refugees 10,000 rubles of assistance, financial aid. That's a little over $100, $122. But as we start finding out now, only those who were officially evacuated by the state, and there are records of that, will receive $122. And those who themselves fled by themselves, just ran away from the war, they're not entitled to anything, not even $122. Dmitry Peskov, Putin's press secretary, who's been very vocal at all the times, he's on vacation. On vacation, for goodness sake. Russia's Minister of Defense, Belousov, the new guy who replaced Shoigu, obviously is doing something important. I know, he's Far East. He's overseeing joint military exercise and the parade with the Mongolians, because we haven't heard from him. I've just seen him once. He was sitting, he didn't even show his face because he was scared when he was sitting right next to Bortnikov at the Security Council meeting. They showed his back once. That's it. That's the Minister of Defense. Dmitry Medvedev, the warmonger, has not written anything in his Twitter or Telegram for 10 days now. Shoigu, Gerasimov, Mishustin, and all other top officials of Russia they obviously are busy with doing something much more important, as what's the big deal? In the West, there's war. Russia is losing kilometer after kilometer of its land, but, it's August. It's vacation time. It's so many more important things to. Russia is big, The only public speaker has been the commander of the Akhmat battalion, the Chechen battalion, Mr. Abti Aladinov, the general major. He's been speaking a lot. So, Russian officials are acting as if everything is going according to the plan. And the message they start sending, and this is where it gets really interesting. The message is that Russian propaganda at Russia's government order is sending this message. Well, we'll lose a little territory. It's no problem. We have so much more. Russia is a huge country. I want you to see this. I want to see this again. Check this out, folks.
Вот что нам делать в этой ситуации? У нас еще пару недель будет очень тяжелых. Даже вот я не знаю.
This is major news channel. This is major show. This is the top propaganda people. Everyone watches them in Russia. Whoever watches TV.
Очень сложно вот этот показной оптимизм сохранять.
А у нас что, показной оптимизм, вы видите?
Слушайте, посмотрите даже...
Я про наши СМИ не говорю, я за них не отвечаю. Я работаю в программе местных встреч.
На войне происходят плохие вещи, понимаете?
Рамзан Кадыров сказал 3 дня, что-то такое.
Давайте мы не будем Рамзана Кадырова всую упоминать, чтобы никому потом не изменяться. Эту тему вообще, тем более сейчас, знаете. Давайте вот эту тему Ахмата и Рамзана Кадырова просто не будем от греха обсуждать. Что касается нам, как нам успокоиться. постараться смотреть цинично, хотя это безумно тяжело, поменьше эмоций, посмотреть на карту России желательно, и сопоставить с картой огромной России вот эти потерянные территории.
Это очень важно.
Да.
Take the lost territories and compare them to the map of the entire Russia.
Эвакуировать надо со всего.
Evacuate everyone.
Со всего.
And live with the fact that Russia is to lose the land and Ukrainians are to
Бог без людей,
keep it.
чтобы вывести всех, включая старушек, придется пожертвовать. Да, потому что
пожертвовать
на какое-то время, может даже на полгода, украинцы там, возможно, закрепятся.
В конце августа, в начале сентября, я думаю, что будет еще более крупномасштабная наступательная операция со стороны Украины. Не исключено, что это будет на юге. Опять же будут пытаться перерезать сухопутный коридор Крыму. Возможно, часть этого наступления в том числе уйдет в сторону Запорожской атомной электростанции, потому что перекрытие сухопутного коридора в Крым вместе с массированным ударом самолетов F-16 по Крымскому мосту, это вот тот образ победы, который Белый дом сможет продать избирателям. Они будут стремиться к этому. И сейчас Курская область должна вытянуть на себя часть наших резервов, которых еще нет на фронте, которые мы не сможем потом резко перебросить на Запорожскую или там Херсонскую область. Поэтому нужно, ну скажем так, я стараюсь здесь, чтобы не было таких слишком у нас легких позиций, что мы сейчас их выдавим, действительно. И задачу они себе как раз ставили вот на какой-то небольшой короткий период. Возможно, они сами начнут отходить, если мы не успеем захлопнуть бутылочное горлышко, а риски такие есть, что мы их возьмем там в окружение.
Well, another guy says that get ready, that Ukrainians will be pushing more. There will be another counteroffensive in September. These are the messages that we hear and more in Russia. This is the tide not turning. It has turned. It's going the other way, you know? So what is Russia's foundation made of? Is it made of reinforced concrete? Is it made of the love of the country? Fighting for every citizen until the last drop of blood? Defending Russia's land no matter what? Is it made out of great leadership, perhaps? You know, strong foundation unites people, makes them fight, makes them mobilize, and they don't have to be ordered to do that. They do it voluntarily. What we're seeing in Russia right now, it's fallen apart. We're seeing that hundreds of thousands of people, civilians, fled. It's no big deal. We'll give everyone $100. Land loss? Who lost? Who cares? Russia, look at Russia's map. Russia is big. And then we'll have to sacrifice, you know, well, just a little tiny part. It's not going to cost us anything. It's, come on, big deal, part of a province. That's it, okay? We must sacrifice. We must start living with this idea. Folks, this is not, you know, this is not a moment of, oh, we will start see Russia falling apart. No, this is happening. This is the moment of truth. Okay, enough talking. We start watching, because this is, you know, this is it. This is the end. Like this cannot go for long. This is the beginning of the grand finale of the Russia used to be called, of the country used to be called Russia. It's fallen apart into so many little pieces. All is needed now is time. And the Ukrainian military operation is a catalyst of this. That's why, in the beginning of the stream, I said that they have done so much more than we think they have. No, that's a much deeper reason, and we're seeing the result right now. Well, my popcorn is right here, and the fireworks have started, and The grand finale is coming soon. I will keep you informed. Friends, thank you so very much. Fantastic to see everyone. Thank you for coming and giving me a chance. I see quite a few people today. Again, I would like to thank you again. I don't know how to thank you enough for supporting me. This not the easiest time, you know. Thank you. And again, monetization or not, every day you can count on me going live and telling you the truth about Russia. Now I invite everyone to join the live stream chat, where we usually share our opinions, and I will try to answer everyone's questions, but that's going to be very busy today. So we have 17,000+ people in the live stream. So the live stream chat is on, and before I start, I would like to tell everyone who is new here for the first time that Inside Russia has the best moderation team in the world. We have great moderators and fantastic people and just the best mods there is, let's say, in the universe. They are Lorna, Mami K, Dirk, Harry, Potnin, Bob S, and Amir Fazad. So thank you, friends. Thank you for coming. I also am so very glad to see the usual suspects. I missed you a lot. Unfortunately, I couldn't live stream last week. I was on the go basically every single day doing things, and our plan worked. Well, we didn't really have a plan. We just kind of trying to take actions. My daughter received a U.S. student visa. She's going to study. So thank you very much, everyone who supported us. And before I start, I would like to say that usually I see your questions or comments much better if you put them in all caps and put Inside Russia after @ because it highlights your message in orange. So thank you so very much. So just like how Harry Podnin did. Thank you, Harry. I'll be reading so many messages. I'll be reading the ones highlighted in orange and in all caps. Leitmotiv for me, howdy. Baker's talk. Sam the Legend K. Bob. Aaronka. Andrew Hodson from South Africa. Pamela J. Howdy. Mark H10. I have my Aladdin of popcorn. Where are the chish? I don't know. You Google them. Sending love to Texas. Thank you, Adam K. Wolfie of Honor. Howdy, howdy. Reinhard from Berlin. Guten Abend. Okay, looking for questions. VJ John, you're in better spirits. Much better spirits. I'm happy for my daughter. She is going to study, which makes the huge difference for me, you know. My side basement has been flooded, recovering slowly from tropical storm Debbie. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Sow it and hope it grows. Brilliant stream. Thank you so much for good words, friend. Lucas, Konstantin, thank you. My pleasure. Thank you so much for coming, giving me a chance. Bob S. saying no else political discussions. Please abstain from discussing US politics. It's such a hot topic that people just start fighting. And no matter what you believe in terms of US politics, I say that, you know, it doesn't matter if you're apples or oranges. We're all fruits here. Stephen Parmi from Poland, thank you. Pat O'Brien, audio is extremely slow. No matter what you believe in. Fine here. Terms of US politics. I just checked. Why is Russia on the map red and Ukraine blue? Which map? I'm not sure which map you mean. Oh, you mean the propaganda people are saying? I don't know. This crazy. Paul Wright, howdy. Thomas, Nathany. It seems the emperor, well, he's modest. Just call him the Tsar. Has no clothes anymore. My question, though, where is the alternative vision that could lead Russian civilians into real protest? I cannot answer that. I am looking for an answer right now myself. Well, I have been looking for quite some time. Please keep on tuning in. I'm giving bits and pieces, everything I know, but there's no clear answer. Tool, what is the economic impact of Kursk incursion into Russia? Isn't Kursk an agricultural powerhouse of Russia? Thank you, friend. That is an awesome question, and that's going to be my tomorrow stream. The economic impact of Ukrainian special military operation on Russian economy. And you're absolutely right. Kursk, Bryansk, Belgorod, not just Kursk. The west of Russia is agricultural powerhouse of Russia. The south and the west. And it's been affected. Oh boy, where do I start? Well, anyway, come back tomorrow. Stream is going to be dedicated for that. To that. Patty, yes, that map, because for me, red is for bad people. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Hal Porter, wonderful news about your daughter. Pass on congratulations. Thank you, friend. Thank you. Aaron Sonex, thank you so much. She's excited, thrilled, happy. I am. If you only knew what we went through last week, it was pretty intense. Sandra, thank you so much. I don't see a PayPal link anywhere. I just got PayPal up and running a couple days ago. I'm going to post the link. It's in this community post. Yes, I made the last community post, but I'm gonna, after this stream ends, see, I cannot put any links while I stream. So once it ends, I'm gonna put into the pinned comment, there will be a link. So Stefan, thank you so much, and exceeded my expectation. Thank you. I tried to give you how I see the situation. Karen, glad your journey was worthwhile. Our journey was just a complete success, because before we went, we thought this is it. This is it. We're done. And there was the only hope is to apply someplace else, and we did, and everything worked out. I'm always amazed that Russian people seem oblivious of the situation. Michael Yukon, good to see you. Missed you in the streams. Me too. Hope and so it grows. So it and hope it grows. Thank you for shouting out the stream. We have a birthday for someone. Deborah, howdy. You may have covered this before, but I don't remember. What do Russians think about people falling out of windows and the like? Do they recognize that this isn't normal? I think that somewhere deep inside, they realize it's not normal, and they understand. But they are afraid to go public with it, and they hope that will not touch them. It's none of their business. They say, well, it's none of my business, none of my business. But guess what? This is a little bigger answer. A lot of Russians, and I talked a lot about it in the beginning of the war, a lot of Russians were never interested in politics. They always said and keep on saying, hey, you know what? Nothing is up to me. I don't make decisions. They make decisions for me, and there's nothing I can do about that. So I'm not interested in politics. But hey, you know what? Now I can definitely say to every person who fled in Kursk province, hey, this is what happens when the politics You're not interested in politics. You abstain from politics. And then one day, the politics come and start knocking on your door. Knock, 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 knock. And if you're lucky, you run and you keep your life. And if you're not so lucky, in Russia, they call it the collateral damage, okay? Then if you're not lucky, you become collateral damage. That's what happens when the politics get interested in you and they start knocking on your door. And then the same thing will start happening with regular Russians. They think it's none of their business. Well, one day they will come and realize it becomes their business, Bertel, thank you so much. Good question. What do you think Putin is doing in Azerbaijan? Two things. He's frantically trying to make some kind of a deal. And that deal concerns oil and gas. Because Azerbaijan is a center, well, that's one of the centers for the oil and gas routes to the east and the south. That's number one. And number two, perhaps since there has been incredible silence, I don't believe the situation inside Russian politics, inside the Kremlin, is silent, far from silent. It's very loud. Something might be happening right now, and then he just in case, he decided to wait a few days away from the Kremlin, away from Russia, okay? Perhaps his buddy, Aliyev, is offering some protection for him. I don't know. But that's just, don't quote me on that. That's just a thought. But I will definitely get back to this because it's a great question. When I learned something about his visit there, Karen, how many other operatives can be moved to command troops? I tell you what, the more the better. The more commanders they have, the easier it's going to be for Ukrainians. And, especially if they start commanding all at once. Hello, Marenius. Howdy, friend. I heard another commentator said the Russians are numb about the invasion and that some consider just another tragedy in their lives. And they feel foreign about the state itself. There are many different opinions, and I'm pretty sure some of the Russians are feeling that way. But I tell you what, many Russians, I talked to Russians in Rostov and Moscow, they're losing their virginity, okay? It's not, it doesn't concern me anymore, okay? It's what the hell is going on? So, very interesting times. As Abtil Adinov said, relax, take your popcorn, enjoy the show. And that's exactly what I'm doing. And I'm just keeping you informed along the way. Michael, thank you so much. Robert, do you think Ukraine will march in Moscow or just hold land to the south? I think that it will hold land that is controlling right now for as much as possible. I don't think it will hold to Moscow's... I'm not a military expert, but I don't think it has resources, okay, to take on Moscow. Although, who knows? Look at Prigozhin. Rumors have it, he had 5,000 people and almost took Moscow. So we'll see. But at least, I think that at least they're going to stay where they are. Perhaps south of Russia is the next target. Perhaps Belgorod. We'll see. Fred Helm Mönker, thank you so much. Danke schön. Pam Tree Kate, I answered about Azerbaijan question. I don't think he would have left Russia at this time because I don't think he's feeling that secure at all, It must be very, very serious circumstances. Bill Osborne, can you talk about the surrendered 18-year-old conscripts? Well, there's tons of reports coming from Ukrainian side, coming from those captured conscripts. There are thousands of them. What is there to say? A lot fell victims in the first hours, and a lot were captured, or they surrendered. I don't know. You tell me what you want to hear. Nico, Mr. Nico, look, this part of Russia, Western Russia, is incredibly developed, both industrially and agriculturally, okay? Belgorod province used to be one of the industrial drivers of Russian economy, okay? And also agricultural drivers. It's not the largest agricultural region. The south of Russia is Krasnodar, Stavropol, Rostov. But that's right next to the south, okay? That's second biggest basket of Russia, food basket. So it's coming tomorrow. I'll talk much more about that. Crusader Damien, howdy. Rumor has it that the two elite troops, Akhmat, are still retreating to high ground in Siberia. Can't really comment that, you know. We'll see. I know that their head of the Akhmat keeps telling something us every day, something very serious, something. He's the only one who keeps talking, okay? And by his speeches, we can at least get a little bit inside of what's going on. Whereas Medvedev, long time we died to hear from Himmler. Yeah, Magda, that's what I'm wondering too, you know, where's Peskov, where's Medvedev, where's everyone? Hey, come back. Werner, Heiko, howdy. Is Swan Lake already on the record player? I think it's on the horizon somewhere. I think that's not too far, you know. Michael Sullivan, yet to invest to popcorn. Hear you. Santi Prieto, when will the weather become cold in Russia? Many people have no home and are on the move. That's one of the things I'm going to be talking about tomorrow too. You know, I can't say that I'm enjoying the fact that so many Russians have been displaced, fled. No, it's a tragedy for a lot of people. And I feel very bad for them. I feel bad for the Ukrainians, terrible for the Ukrainians. And I can't really jump up and down for civilian Russians. Well, I understand the reasons. I understand that this is a boomerang, karma law, okay? But I still feel bad for them, especially for the elderly. We learn sooner or later lessons in our lives, okay? They're learning now. But yes, it will get cold soon. I would say 6-7 weeks in the north, north of St. Petersburg, around St. Petersburg, and winter is coming. Fall in Russia comes very early, and winter is going to be there in no time. Thank you, Harry. Amir, howdy. Haiji, I'm confused. Who's responsible for protection of Russian borders? The KGB. The border patrol troops, they're part of the KGB, the Russia secret police. But they work together along with Russian troops because the west of Russia is full of military bases. And I mean, it's obvious it's a crazy idea for someone to invade Russia, but hey, Russia has brought it up onto itself, right? So if someone were to invade, then the border patrol would be the first line of defense. But then the army should be there in no time because there are bases literally everywhere, okay? That's a normal country. But I guess Russia is a kind of fake country, Putin's Russia. Deborah, howdy from Southern California. I'm from sunny California. Welcome back. Thank you so much. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you, much appreciated. Thank you. Andrew Baker, thank you so much. Thank you, friends. All right. couple more questions, and I invite everyone to pray along with me, and let's pray for people, send good wishes. I'm sorry. Did I do something wrong? Lorna, if I pressed the wrong button, I apologize. I opened the comment. Didn't mean that. Folks, I'm doing a video, not a live stream, a video. It involves lots of time, lots of efforts and research on some Americans and some foreigners who have relocated to Russia and living in Russia, and then painting a different picture of Russia from what I have been painting. So hang on to that. Surge, when will Russian people... Okay, I've seen that already. I don't have the answer for that. Diane, thank you so much. It's harvest time in Kursk. I think there will be shortages in winter. The harvest won't happen. Roy Cousins, good to see you. They definitely will be shortages, because not just because of harvest in Kursk will not happen. Please come back tomorrow. I will talk more about that. Ghost Player, I heard something that Ukraine has destroyed 3 bridges. What do you actually know about this? Kind regards, Peter. Well, Peter, I mentioned that in the stream. I also have heard that of course, there's no official confirmation from Russian officials. They're not saying anything. They're acting as if everything is normal and the west of Russia just simply doesn't exist, okay? I have heard it from different sources, unofficial sources, that Ukrainians have indeed blew up 3 bridges. And I've seen pictures of 2 bridges blown up. Like I said, I think it's very excessive measure, because Russian army is far east. It's conducting a joint military exercise with the Mongolians. Okay, so that's what I think. Michael Franken, is it still called special operation, or is it called war in Russia? No, it's not called war. No one is talking about unofficially. Here and there, reporters, some propaganda people say, this is war, we are fighting with NATO, with the West, with the Satanists. But it's still called the special military operation, and it's right now in the west of Russia, it's the anti-terrorist operation. But there are no terrorists there. Ukrainians are not terrorists, they're armed forces of Ukraine, okay? Terrorists are the ones who blow up and hit and run. That's not it. So I'll just give you an understanding why they're not calling this a war. If they call this, still call this special military operation a war, they will have to pay 200,000 rubles per month to every Russian, and up to million or couple million now rubles, the ones who they mobilize voluntarily to sign up bonus. If a person is killed in special military operation, then the family gets crazy money, like $150,000 or something like that. But if he gets killed in a counter-terrorist operation, the family gets $1,000. So it's a matter of money. Pinda, the Peanut, howdy, special border party operation. How can Russia gag 180,000 Kursk residents that are angry about being displaced? This is the beginning. Like I said, this is the beginning of the grand finale. They can't contain. People are gonna get crazy angry, and it's gonna spread throughout Russia. This is just the beginning. Adam Caldwell, if Russians feel the war started 6 days ago? What do they think the sudden conscription of troops for a few months ago? I haven't heard of the sudden conscription of troops for a few months ago. There are two conscription periods in Russia, spring and fall. And that's where boys turn 18 years old and they're conscripted. By law, they have to go serve. They've been doing it for, always. And so I don't recall any sudden conscription of troops. So glad Russian didn't shut you down. Polywanda, thank you. Just reading the news articles, it's obvious that... Guess what? I just came back last night. I haven't read much. I haven't read many articles, okay? But I can see without articles that he's in panic. Dead tilt, what do you think of these few words? Now, this is not the end. It's not even beginning of the end, but it is perhaps the end of the beginning. Hi from France, hope you are well. Now it's not the end, it's not even the beginning of the end, but it is perhaps the end of the beginning. We'll see. We'll see. Definitely might be true for Russia as a country, but I disagree. I think for Putin, this is the beginning of the end. Perhaps it's not, because he's going to be replaced by a successor or something like that. And then Russia might live in a state like this for quite some time, for a few years perhaps, even if the peace comes between Russia and Ukraine and it withdraws all troops, it can still live in a state like this, state of decay, I call it, or demise for a few years. So, but for Putin, this is the beginning of the end. Friends, Mario Garcia, how are you holding up being demonetized by YouTube? What can I say? I'm trying to hold up, as much as I can. Again, I am overwhelmed by all the support that you have showed, all the love, all the messages, all reaching out and saying, hey, offering solutions. Just been hundreds and hundreds of emails, messages. There's been quite a few people who bought coffees and signed up to become patrons. So thank you. I'm overwhelmed. That has definitely helped, having this community, and I start feeling that I receive so much more than I give. Okay, so that keeps me going. That keeps me alive. I'm trying to fix this monetization problem. I see the path. I registered another AdSense account, but now YouTube is checking it. Some people say it's going to be 48 hours. Some people say it's going to be 30 days. But you know what? Does not matter. Even if I go without monetization for 30 days, friends, I will keep on going. I said so many times, I walk the walk, not just talk the talk. This is it. This. You are trusting me. You're believing in me. How can I let you down? Okay? Every single person who sends me message, not money, just message, just love, how can I help Konstantin? Hey, keep going, hang in there. I like your work and stuff like that. How can I let these people down? How can I let you down? So you can count on me, monetization or not, I'll be here. So other still chilled Russian landscape videos in Russia. I'm not sure what you mean chilled. Ferrari guy, NFKRZ did a show on the demonetization. It's a PETA. You have to cancel the old one and get verified as a new country address. I know, Ferrari guy, trust me, I saw it coming. There's more to this monetization that what you think. I'm giving you a hint. I could have changed my my country of residence quite some time ago. But that would result me paying taxes in Russia. Yes, it's, trust me, there's circumstances, okay? And the reason I didn't do that is no, and I'm not paying, I have not been paying taxes. I will not pay. So I don't want my tax dollars. I mean, how insanely cynical would be of me taking your super chats and paying taxes to Russia, in Russia, for that. And then that part of that money would be financing the war that what Russians are doing in Ukraine. So trust me, it's not as simple as, but I am actually pretty proud of myself, and with help of a few people, I have avoided paying taxes in Russia, and then I am doing the process of verification now and all of that. So thank you so much, friends. I would like to end. It's so good to be back. Tomorrow, definitely, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every day. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad I'm home. I'm so glad I'm not on the go. I'm so glad it worked out, and I'm here, and you're giving me the chance. Thank you for a great turnaround today. Thank you so much. Not turnaround. So many people showed up. What's this word? Turnaround. Perhaps it is turnaround. Michael Sullivan, Kostya is money smart. Well, I'm 48. I've made quite a few mistakes, trust me, with money. Smart, I can't say I'm money smart, but yeah, I'm in good standing. Yes, that's for sure. But trust me, it's not that easy. It's not that simple. It's not that. It's a little more complicated than that. So there's so many personal details involved. That's why I'm not telling. I'd like to stay away from that. Is Patreon the best way to support you? As this is the course I'm pursuing. Serge, thank you so much. Patreon is great. Buy Me Coffee is good. Signing up for membership for Buy Me Coffee, but no, sign up for Patreon because you get 9 news per day. So, friends, I would like to pray, and we haven't done so in 7 days publicly. So, I invite everyone, if you're religious, please join me in prayer. If you're not, please join me in prayer anyway, because to me it doesn't matter if you're religious or not. I consider God as love, and we have love in each one of us hearts, okay? And it means that we have God who loves us inside us, all of us, whether we believe or not. That God doesn't really care, I think. He's there. He's our, he loves us. That's all that matters. Thank you. Dear Lord Jesus Christ, thank you so much for this day. Thank you for helping my family. Thank you for this community of great people. Thank you for all the support that I have received. Thank you for roof that you have given us all, roofs that you have given us above our heads. Thank you for people who love us and who we love and you surround us with. Please give us wisdom to keep the skies above our children's heads peaceful and safe. Please give us wisdom to raise our children in a way that when they grow up, they will make this world a better place and they will never engage in any wars. They will just love each other. Dear Lord, I am asking to help Ukraine. Please help stop bloodshed. Reach out and touch the hearts of those who are responsible and capable of making that decision. Fill their hearts with love, wake them up from their lethargic sleep, and have them make decision to stop the war, to stop the bloodshed. Please help every single Ukrainian who has been affected by this war, answer their prayers, make their wishes come true. Dear Lord, please help my country, Russia, assemble your strongest angels into your heavenly army, your angels who have sharpest swords and greatest power. Have that army led by Saint Michael send it to earth to get rid of the demons who have hijacked my country, who we know by their faces and by their names. Please send angels to help good Russians to manage the country, make it peaceful, loving, and respecting. Dear Lord, please send everyone who's traveling safe travels and send help to those who need help in high waters, in danger, and in dire straits. Please help single mothers and fathers who are struggling, raising their children, trying to make their ends meet. Please help those Ukrainians who are under attack or under threat of attacks from Russia. Send your angels to protect them and send them safety. Please bless those who are helping Ukrainians. Help all the hungry, the sick, the cold, the jobless, the homeless, the depressed, the ones losing their faith, the ones who are betrayed, the ones who are not feeling well about themselves or about their lives. Fill their hearts with warmth and love. Show them that you care, that you have not abandoned them. Show them that they're not alone. Please show them that you are with them, watching every step they take, and you love them. Please help everyone in need. Dear Lord, I am asking you to, I'm thanking you for everyone who's praying along with me right now or simply watching us pray. Please answer everyone's prayer and make everyone's wish come true. Dear Lord, I have a few people here who need your help. They are James Rhodes and his wife, Ann Larson and her daughter Hannah, Jeffrey S. and his family members, Alex from Albuquerque, Mark Rutan, Tom W., J.R. McKim, Frank in Texas, Gabing with Gary, Lisa Cumbrian, Harry Potnan and his family, Terry Carter, John McLean, Linda Trombley, Paula W., Dennis, Jason Carney, Susie Mailer, Tim Mayers, Dory, Rhonda McGillis, John, Taylor, Wayne, Dave, Don, Darla, George Ruberty, Pamela J., Meta Spencer, David Porter, Leif, Randolph, Grace, Dean Spooner and his church, Yelena, Natasha, Michael, Jake, Oля, Dasha, Sky, Svetlana, Sergey, Liz, Ron Klotzer, Liz Dumbrell, Koshkin Dom, Sandra, Mike and Mike, Petra Olson, Joseph Abide, Melissa, and all the children who have been displaced, all the children from Ukraine, and all the children from Russia who have been affected by this terrible tragedy. Please have Ukrainian children find their way back to rejoin their families and live with them. Thank you so much, dear Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Thank you, friends. Fantastic to go live again and speak with you. Thank you for giving me a chance. I would like to remind that you're absolutely awesome and you rock. Don't forget that. And again, announcement for tomorrow. I'm going to be doing the economic part of the Ukrainian special military operation it's conducting in Russia. And I will see you tomorrow. Before I sign off, I'm asking everyone to say out loud along with me as loud as you can, Carthago delende est.